All right, tell me if you guys can hear me. Let me see. See if you guys can hear me. Let me know. I'm gonna test it out myself real quick to see. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. If you can, please share this live video. Please make sure you let other folks know that I am live right now. I have some things I want to talk about and some things I want to put out there. Um, Above and beyond what took place last night, which was amazing, was awesome. The energy was there. The energy was palpable. People really came out to demonstrate, even despite the situation with COVID. Folks came out and they were engaged and they were um, organized. Last night was extremely organized. So shout out to Zelly Thomas and Black Lives Matter Paterson, because, like I said, last night was extremely well run. I want to discuss, because I want to keep this conversation going. One thing we have to understand, and I've been working with families who have went through situations like this for years now. And one of the things that we can't allow to happen is for the conversation to die down. We have to keep the pressure on. We have to keep the conversation going every single day. I'm live streaming right now. No, Kishana, did you hear what I just said? Yeah. All right, that's it then. I'm live streaming. I got to get this done. All right, come on. All right, all right. Let me see. Yeah, this is another situation I got to get straightened out because I'm sick of that too. But we'll talk about that later. And that's one thing I can't have is a team that's not willing to work with me. But I'll talk about that some other time. That's for another conversation. What we're discussing today is the case with Thelonious McKnight. Um, we already know that the Paterson police, whatever that force is called, street crime unit, whatever you call them, we already know that they murdered him that night. You know, we know that that young man did not have a gun on him. And when I showed an article last night that was published about an hour after the rally, and it was published by North Jersey News, and they put in there that the Attorney General's office, you know, has not said at this point whether the gun was even his. They don't even know who the gun belongs to. Now, if you guys remember early on, when it first happened, the Attorney General's office, along with, you know, the mayor's office, came right out and said, you know, that he's a criminal, that he was shooting at the police, and they shot back. The police unions ran with that and said, yeah, you know, he shot at the police and they shot back. We know from what we have in our possession, and just from looking at the videos. And like I said, I'm going to talk about it again because we have to keep this conversation going. We cannot stop talking about what they did to Thelonious. And let me say this too. Even if you don't know him personally, you can still get involved in this movement that we are doing right now. You don't have to know a person to get involved in a movement. You know what I'm saying? A movement is a movement for a reason, because it involves movement, and everybody can get involved. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. If you're the kind of person that does not like injustice, if you're the kind of person that wants people to get justice, and you're tired of seeing the police and other people who are in positions of authority misusing their authority to attack us and to kill us, if you feel that what took place here should not have taken place, then that is enough of a reason for you to get involved. You don't have to say, well, you know, I don't know the family and I don't know the friends, and I may never even have met Thelonious. But that doesn't matter. Even if you never met him before, even if you never met the family before, for many of us, this was the first time we ever met the family. But that's not the issue. As long as your heart is in the right place and you want to help them get justice, you have every right to show up to a protest, a demonstration, and believe me, the family appreciates it. They said it last night. They appreciate everybody who comes forward. They appreciate everybody who shares a word of encouragement with them. They appreciate everybody who stands on the front lines. So trust me, you don't necessarily have to know, the family personally to be able to stand up for them in the street. Because if something happened to a member of your family or a friend or someone that you cared about, you would want everybody and anybody to get involved and help you to get justice for your family member. So I'm encouraging you. Get involved. Get involved. You're more than welcome to get involved. You're more than welcome to come out to the programs and the rallies and the functions and the meetings that we have. You are more than welcome to come out and be a part of that. If you look at both of the videos, and I've been talking to some folks, man, who know how to analyze the videos and know how to analyze the sound, and they know how to analyze the pictures. And I've been talking to forensic people who know how to break these things apart and break them down so that you can really see what happened. If you look at that video, that first video, you see Thelonious standing there. First he came out of the store, you saw him standing there. He wasn't doing anything. He was just standing there with his friends. You see that truck pull up. You see them jump out. They turn their lights on. They jump out. They run up on the guys. They don't touch any of the guys except the one guy, which was Thelonious, the one man. They walked him up, lured him into the back, and killed him. And then they went straight to the newspapers and straight to the news and said, hey, this guy was armed, and so we had to do our duty to disarm him and kill him and so forth. So then I'm asking the question now, if the gun was found near his side, why was there a phone there? That wasn't a gun, that was a phone. Anybody who looks at that picture would know the difference between a gun and a phone. That's kind of similar to that lady, that officer that was just convicted of murder because she used her she thought she used her taser, but it was a gun. She actually tried to pull that off. I forgot her exact name, but it was an officer very recently in the news. She was just recently convicted of a murder that she committed, and she was a cop. And because she tried to convince the jury, or her lawyers tried to convince the jury, that when she drew her weapon, she thought she was firing a taser and not a gun. You guys probably remember that story more than I have to look it up. But that's the same kind of thing. Oh, we thought he had a gun. And that would be at least half honest. But right now, they're just completely telling a lie, and they're saying he had a gun. No, and he didn't. Now, if you guys look at the article I posted last night on my page, there's, you have to pay attention to details. And it's very, very important that you pay attention to all the details. If you look at that article that I just posted last night, maybe the 4th or 5th paragraph, it talks about that the Attorney General has not yet said if the gun belonged to him, or if the gun was there, or if he even shot the gun. So it's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? First the police and the Attorney General's office and the mayor said that Thelonious fired the shot at the police, and then the police, returned fire. That's what they said. Now the Attorney General's office is saying we're not. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put that article in the comments so you guys can see it. I want to make sure you guys understand what's going on here, and and the reason why I'm doing this today is because, like I said, we have to keep the conversation going. It can't be where we're out here one day and we're talking about it and we're angry about it, and we're raising our voices and we're making sure that our voices are heard one day, and then disperse and don't do anything else, because that's what they want. They don't care, as much if we gather up and talk, but what they're hoping is that we don't carry on the conversation, that we allow the conversation to die out. And I know it's difficult. And I know it's tough, especially to talk about a situation that's as horrid as this one was. But we cannot lose our focus, and we cannot lose our voice in this matter. Put this back in here. So I'm encouraging you, please share the conversation. We cannot allow this conversation to die. Okay? That is extremely, extremely important. We cannot allow this conversation to die. I beg you, do not allow this conversation to die. Okay? Mention, you have to talk about it to your friends. And let me say this: I understand that we all have things that we have to do, and maybe at the moment you may not have the time to really type. And then there's also situations where you may be so emotional that you don't want to really write anything because you're so angry, so upset that you just don't know what to type. Even if you just put justice for Rara, because that's the hashtag right now. That's actually the petition that Black Lives Matter, with Zelly Thomas and Joe Moore and that entire crew, they put together a website, and I got to share that too. Let me find that link so I can share that in the comments as well. Again, shout out to Zelly Thomas and Black Lives Matter. These guys are always stepping up every time there's a situation or something or a tragic event in the community. These guys are always stepping up and stepping forward, and I can support that. I can support that. Let me find that. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, let me see if this is the one. I just want to make sure this is the one. Okay, so I'm gonna share the link right now. I'm gonna share the link right now, and everybody, please go up there and sign the petition. Okay, please go up there and sign the petition. Okay, let's make sure we get this petition signed and make sure we get these people active in the community. That's another way that you can get involved if you don't really want to show up at the rallies. And I understand, I get it. With the pandemic still raging, and you had the Omicron variant, and now they're saying there's some new variant now coming from France. So I can understand if there's some trepidation about being in a large crowd right now, with all that's going on. I understand that. So if I just posted the link in the comment section. It's called Justice for Rara, and it was started by BLM Paterson. And you can, if you can, please click on that link now. If you can, share that link, with your contacts and people that are on your page, so that everybody can sign that petition. I believe we get that petition signed because we want to see it. There's a lot of things that we want to see. We want to see that police report. We want to see the autopsy, which includes the toxicology, all of that. We want to see the report of the evidence collection. Okay, the evidence collection, that's going to be key. We want to see that. We want to see the report from when they coined it off as a crime scene. We want to see the actual we want to know on paper what it is that they actually listed that was found there, so that we can base it upon what we have in our possession. So we want to see a lot of things. We want to see the files from that night. We want to see a copy of the police report from that night. We want the entire report from start to finish. We don't want any of the pages taken out. We don't want any of the parts taken out. We want to see the entire police report, and we want the names of the officers that were involved in that incident that night. If they were big and bold enough to kill somebody and murder someone in cold blood like that, and then lie on them and malign their character to try to make people feel sympathetic towards the police in this situation, because that's what they're doing. They're clutching at straws. They're saying things, trying to say things about his past and what have you, but they're not telling the truth about what happened that night. They're trying to find ways to malign his character and to try to get everybody to see him as a monster, so that in their minds it can justify what they did to him. And that's a common practice for law enforcement when it comes to the black community. That is a common practice. You will see it time and time again. They'll kill somebody and then they'll say, well, this person had a record, or this person did this and did that in the past. And they'll use that to get the community at large to turn their backs and say, okay, well then they were justified in what they did. But that's not the case. That's not the case. That's an old trick. They've been doing that for years. If they can't convince enough of the community to believe in what they did, then they try to go to the next step to see if they can malign their character. So don't believe in that, because I'm telling you, there's some of you that I know when this first happened, you were gung-ho, and I know that some of you have kind of eased off. Don't allow them to do that to you. Keep the conversation going, man. Don't allow them to stop you and to make you feel like you're not a part of a movement that matters. Because right now, justice for Thelonious McKnight is a movement that matters. And we are fighting to get justice for the family. And, even, and let me just mention this too, because they were there last night. I don't know if you all knew, but Jameek Lowry, who was also killed, murdered by Paterson police on January 7th, 2019, some of his family members were there last night. I believe his sister was there last night, and I believe her cousin was there with her. So their family was there last night. The Lowry family was there to support Thelonious McKnight's family as well last night, which was beautiful, And that case isn't over either. I just want you guys to know that happened 3 years ago. Well, in 2 days it'll be 3 years ago. And just recently, a federal court denied the city of Paterson's request to try to dismiss the wrongful death suit against the city of Paterson because of what happened to Jameek. So and this is something that the city of Paterson was trying to keep under hush. I didn't even know that they put that request in the first time. I didn't know they did. So I'm seeing now they've been denied a second time. And that's a shame. That speaks volumes for the city if they're trying to dismiss or get the wrongful death suit dismissed so that the families have no other legal recourse to try to get justice for them. But the city of Paterson was denied. So the family of Jameek Lowry has the opportunity now to take that step forward and pursue criminal charges. And I'm going to work with them to do that. And I'm going to work with this family to do that as well. We got to fight. We have to fight for what we believe in and what we believe is right. And we can't allow people to get in our ears. Let me say that too. Can't allow people to whisper in our ears and tell us things, because it happens every time. Every time a movement gets going and you start working with a family, people will show up. The naysayers, the ones who really don't want to help anyway, they'll show up. They'll start whispering in your ear. Don't get involved. Don't be a part of this, or don't help this person. Don't let this person help you. And then things go awry, and then the bad guys end up winning. As soon as the good folks divide, the bad people win automatically by default. The minute we start dividing and separating and start having isms and schisms, as they used to say, and we start allowing people from the outside to creep in and whisper in our ears and have us turning on this one and that one, the minute we divide, we lose. The minute we divide, we lose. All right, y'all. I'm ready to do something I know some of y'all gonna be upset with, but I gotta have some today. I got me a Pepsi, man. I know. I haven't had one in a long time, but this will be my first one for 2022. But I'm not gonna have any more for a while. I can't mess with these too much. But I needed one today. That's what but I definitely want you to understand that we have to stick together. I wanted to come up here to talk to you today because I feel it's important to keep the fire lit. Last night we a fire was lit within the community, and we cannot allow that fire to go out. We cannot allow the conversation to die down. Every day I want you guys to commit to every day when you go on Facebook or Instagram or any other page. I want you guys to commit to every day, posting in the comment section, justice for Rara or justice for Thelonious McKnight. Post it every day, even if you do it, once a day, on in your news thread. And believe me, if enough of us type that in our threads every day, and it begins to circulate enough, that information will flow to a higher level and it will go farther. That's the way Facebook works. That's the way, when you look at it analytically and you see how, items are pushed to the forefront, the more that a certain name or a hashtag is mentioned, it begins to move up and it begins to become more of a topic that's being discussed. So that's what we want. We want Thelonious McKnight's story to stay at the top right now, so that could continue to be discussed, so that could continue to be talked about. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in the comment section now. We need to keep hashtagging this every day. Okay, let me put it. Okay. Key. Okay, hashtag. 1 second, y'all. Okay. 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 So I just gave you guys the hashtag. Justice for Thelonious McKnight. And that's all you need to write. If that's what I'm saying. If you're saying to yourself, because you might say, maybe the first day you may have some things to write, and then maybe the next day you might say, well, what am I supposed to say today? I don't really know what to say. You don't have to. You don't have to write anything. All you have to do is type in hashtag Justice for Thelonious McKnight. That's all. By doing that once a day on all of the pages, on everybody's page, you type that once a day on your page, Justice for Thelonious McKnight. You can also, because I put the hashtag in the comment section, you can also highlight what I just typed, copy it, paste it on your timeline. Then you can also paste it on your notepad in your phone or your tablet. And every day you can just go back to your notepad, highlight, copy, and paste it on your timeline, and hit post. And every day, just that simple. Every single day, we should start seeing Justice for Thelonious McKnight. It should start flooding the timeline. That's how you disrupt the system. If they see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Justice for Thelonious McKnight posts all over Facebook, all over Instagram, all over Twitter, all in TikTok. Even if you go to TikTok and you just make a statement or you show a video and you put, if we start bombarding social media with that hashtag Justice for Thelonious McKnight, we will force people to pay attention to what happened to him. We will make it a big issue and make it huge to where everybody will have to stop and say, even the people who don't even live in Paterson, who don't even live in New Jersey, who maybe not even live in America, but they're online and they're seeing Justice for Thelonious McKnight. And then they're going to begin to ask, well, who is this? People who don't know, people who live out of the city or out of the state or out of the country who may not even know about it will begin to start asking, well, who is Thelonious McKnight? When they start asking that question, then we can then bring them the story as to what happened. And then his story will become national, where everybody will begin to understand, even on the national platform of police brutality, his story will make it up there. Because what we don't want is for this young man's death to be in vain. That's what we don't want. We don't want his death to be in vain. What they did was cowardice, and it was cruel, and it was cold-hearted. But we do not want that young man's death to be in vain. We don't want him to be just another young man that was gunned down by the police. We don't want that to be the case. We want to make sure that this young man, that his story was told by what took place that night. His blood is on their hands because they murdered him in cold blood. And they put it off. They made it, and then they tried to make it like they tried to use his past. And that's, what? And I'm going to be honest with you, people will do that all the time. They'll use your past to convict your present. And they'll attempt by using your past to convict your present. They'll try to hinder your future. So you have to stand up against that when those attempts are made. And so that's why I said early on in the video, they are clutching at straws and trying to find any way they can to malign his character, so almost so as to make the public feel that his murder by the police, by the Paterson police, was justified. And that's what they're trying to do. We can't allow that to go without it being, without response. We can't sit there and be quiet. So anybody's telling you, just be quiet, let things play out. I'm telling you how things are going to play out. If we don't make noise constantly, and if we do not constantly keep his name out there, it's gonna go away. And they're just gonna be happy and say, okay, that's another case in the books. And that's what I'm telling you. Being quiet is the last thing you want to do right now. Right now, the community, now the family, has a right to do whatever they want to do. Maybe they probably have an attorney. The attorney's probably telling them, you guys just kind of, don't say much, and that's fine. That's the family. They have every right to do as they please. That's the family. I'm talking about the community at large. We're the community, and as a community, we have a right to make noise because we're saying, hey, we saw that happen to that young man. What if it's, my brother or my son or my nephew or my father or my cousin next that happens to? So we're making noise because on the community end, the community needs to be aware of how they deal with people and the things that they do, because it now becomes a community issue. It becomes a community situation, and the community has to make noise about it, because we have to say, hey, like I said a few minutes ago, what if that's one of our relatives next? It was this young man, unfortunately. Now, what happens if I'm standing on the corner somewhere talking to somebody, and then they just roll up and walk you in the back and decide, oh, you have a gun on you, and this is your phone. This is a pretty big phone. So, you reach in the night, you pull it out, oh, he has a gun, and they just start blasting on you. Come on now. They've been doing this junk for years, and they have been using these excuses to kill. I think young man last night said it, to kill black and brown people with immunity. Kason Little. Yes, Kason Little from Elizabeth. Shout out to him. He came out last night and spoke powerfully about how they have been basically given a license to kill black and brown people with immunity. And so what we don't want is for this to go away. We don't want this to go silent. We don't want this to disappear. We don't want the name to just fade away, because that's what they want. The powers that be are determined to wait around for this to just disappear, and for the conversation to no longer be part of the community. They want the community to be able to get past this, and it's a shame that they're looking at it that way, but they are. They really want the community to get past this and not talk about it anymore. They just want it to fade away. The community wants that when the funeral is over and everybody goes home, when the community goes home and the funeral's over, the powers that be are hoping that when that happens, the folks who have been discussing it will no longer discuss it. That's what they're hoping. That's what they're praying for. But we cannot give them what they're praying for. We have to keep this conversation going. We have to keep his name out there every day. I'm giving you guys some advice here. Do not let this go cold. You do not want this to become a cold case. You do not want to go silent, because the minute you go silent, and the minute everybody goes their separate ways, and the minute everybody pipes down about it, they win. They win because now there's no more pressure. There's no more community support. There's no more community pressure. Everybody goes away, and they just wash their hands and forget about it. So the worst thing we can do right now is to let this conversation die. As painful as it is, we have to continue to bring up his name, continue to bring up what happened, and continue to keep it out there in the forefront. Because the minute we stop talking about it, and the minute we just kind of shrug our shoulders and say, okay, and it goes silent and it disappears, the powers that be, they're satisfied now. They feel good now. They feel like they were able to once again kill another brother and walk away from it scot-free. But the more that we put the pressure on it, and the more that we put the conversation on it, the more that they're going to be forced to face what they did, and the more that they're going to be pushed that much closer to a point of accountability. Okay, so I want you guys to know that. I want you guys to understand that we are on the winning side, and we're going to win this for the family and for the community. But we have to stick together. I cannot stress that enough. We have to stick together, and we have to make sure that we keep this conversation going. Do not stop talking about it. Your friends, your family, people in your church, people on the job, people in your school, wherever you are, keep bringing that up. Keep bringing his name up. Keep making sure that people understand who he is and what he stood for, and what they did to him that night while he was standing there. While he was standing there that night, minding his business. Make sure you let people know that. Make sure you let people know how they killed him that night. Do not let this conversation die. I'm telling you, I've seen it happen. I have seen it happen in the past. That's why I'm being so adamant about what I'm saying right now, because I've seen it happen in the past where a police officer killed someone, the community was outraged, they came out, they spoke their piece, and then slowly but surely things began to die down, and the next thing you know, it was gone. And I don't want that to happen in this particular situation. Please, let's stick together, and let's make sure that we open our mouths and continue to keep that conversation going. All right. So I don't want to hold you guys too long today. I still have a very busy day myself, but I just wanted to get on here tonight to leave you with this bit of information. Please keep the conversation going. Do not let the conversation die. Share the videos, share the text messages, share, because there are text messages that are coming from BLM Paterson. If you check your text messages, there's a group chat that's going out to give you guys instructions and information and so forth. Make sure you check that link, and if you see statuses and posts and news articles, make sure that you share that. It's going to be extremely important for you to do that and be involved in the process. Do not let the fire go out with this case. We got to keep his name going. We have to keep the information out there, and we have to make sure people understand what is going on and why it's happening. All right. If you guys need anything, or you need some pointers on how to do things in terms of getting the word out, hit me up. You can either hit Zelly up, you can hit Joe Moore up, you can hit the family up if need be. And I'm sure any of us can share with you what needs to be said and how you put it out there. But we got to keep the pressure on. We can't ease up on the pressure, man. The minute we ease up on the pressure, it's over. So we can't let that happen, man. We got to fight hard, and we got to keep pushing to make sure that his name is put out there, and that people know that that Thelonious McKnight was murdered that night by Paterson police. All right, because I can guarantee you they're on the other side saying it totally different. They're putting it out there like he was a gun owner, and that he was pointing the gun at them and firing on them, and they fired on him. That's what they're putting out there. That's the message. That's the narrative that the police union and all of them. That's what they're putting out there to the public. They're making it look like they walked up and he fired on them and they fired back. It's not what happened. I can show you it's not what happened, and we have to make sure that we stand firm on that. And like I said in the very beginning of this live, the AG's office is now acting like they don't even know who it belongs to. I'm gonna keep you guys posted as new articles and new information come in. I'm going to keep you guys posted as more information comes in, and I mean minute by minute. The second that I see a new article or new information come in, I'll make sure you guys are kept abreast of it. So make sure, if you're not, I think I already have 5,000 friends, so I don't think I have any more space here, but I do have another page. Matter of fact, let me put that in the comment section. I do have another page on Facebook. That you guys can reach out to. Let's see if I can find it. Hold up one second, y'all. I have another page here, and I need to get this link to it. 1 second. Okay, copy link. Okay, and I'm kind of getting the hang of this technology thing. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to post the comments. I'm going to post the link. Okay, I just posted. Okay. Oh yeah, the teddy bear is gone. I don't know who took it down, but it's gone. I was told not to even touch it because you never know what could be on it. So but it was taken down. Probably maintenance or somebody took it down. I did see the link from the police union talking their nonsense, cheering the officers who committed murder. They can, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna keep the conversation going. That's what I mean. We have to keep the conversation going on our end, because they're not gonna stop. They're gonna keep trying to cheer those officers on and talk about how they support them. If we go quiet, they win. We can't let that happen. I'm talking about as a community. I'm not talking about the family and the legal issues that they're getting ready to, the legal battle and things that they're ready to do. That's a totally different area. That's for the attorneys and the advocate for the family. That's a whole nother issue. What I'm talking about right now is the community impact, the community organizing piece. Those of us in the community that stand with the family. And we're saying we don't want to see this anymore happen in our community. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't want the lines to get blurred and the message to get twisted. I'm not talking about the family right now. The family has an attorney and they're handling it. I'm supposing the way that the attorney is, advising them, and that's another area that I'm sure they have, what they're going to do, and their plan is already set in motion. So, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about right now is specifically the community organizing. As a community, we have to make sure the conversation continues to grow. As a community, we cannot allow Thelonious McKnight's name to fade away. We have to keep his name alive. We have to keep the message alive. We have to keep the story going. We have to keep sharing the articles, sharing the messages, hashtagging justice for Thelonious McKnight. We have to keep it going. That's the message I'm trying to drive home to you right now. We have to keep the message going. We cannot allow, under any circumstances, to allow the movement and the message to die down. It has to, the way it was last night, we have to keep it going just like that on social media, just the way it was last night. We have to keep it going the same way. And how long? Until the family tells us that, hey, y'all, we've gotten, I mean, and you know, like Kason said last night, even justice is not fully justice because, you know, Thelonious, you know, isn't coming back to us. You know, the real justice would be him coming back. So there's no real justice, but at least the family can have closure. At least they can have some closure on their end when the people who are responsible for this, you know, are held accountable. Maybe there's some, you know, sense of solace, at least knowing that the people who were responsible were held accountable. That's what we want to make sure. And that only happens when you apply the pressure. That's why I'm telling you all, there's a link that I put in the comment section that Black Lives Matter Paterson set up, and it's for petitions. And I'm believing that the petitions are there for you to sign, demanding the names of the officers, the reports, the paperwork, the videos, everything related to what happened that night. There is a demand for that, and I think the petitions that are there on that link speaks to that. And I shared the link. It's justiceforrara.com. Go there, sign the petition, you know, and then I'm sure there's probably a return email that you'll get with more instructions on how, you know, they plan to take that petition further. But on the community aspect, we have to make this a daily conversation. Until this family says that they've received some form of ratification or justice in what has taken place, in that the people responsible were held accountable, or they're being held accountable, or the Attorney General has filed charges against these officers for false police reports, something. Until we hear that something is taking place, that there's some movement, that they're not just free to roam and do it to other people as well, we have to keep the conversation going. Even on those days when you're frustrated and you just don't feel like saying anything at all, just hashtag justice for Thelonious McKnight. Those days when you don't feel like typing, it's just not your day. And we all get those days where we just don't feel like being bothered. We don't want to type anything. We ain't interested in looking at anything. We just don't want to be bothered at all. We all have those times. We all have those times. So even in those times, make sure you go on your Facebook page, your Instagram, TikTok, whatever pages you're on. Go on those pages and hashtag justice for Thelonious McKnight. Okay, so I'm going to end this video. My name is Corey Teague. I'm a law student from Berkeley College, community activist, and school board member, and I'm here to fight for the family, and I'm here to fight for you. So if you're dealing with any issues at all, continue to reach out to me. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I do every day, and pretty soon we'll be taking it to the next level. When I finally take my LSAT and take and pass the bar exam, become an attorney, and then we take this thing to a whole nother level. But right now I can only do what I'm able to do now, and that's advocate, and I'm going to continue to do that to the best of my ability until I get to that level where we can take it all the way. And that's when we get to the level where we can actually, instead of me standing outside the courtroom advocating for you, I can actually now become your attorney and come in the courtroom with you and fight for you in the courtroom. So that's gonna be dope. And it's not long off. I have 4 law classes this semester, and we're gonna knock this semester out, and the next semester, and the next semester, and continue on doing what I need to do until I get to the point where I take the LSAT, the bar exam, and then it'll be Corey Teague Esquire. And then it's on. At that point, it's on. Right now, I'm doing the best I can as an advocate. Man, when I get my law license and my law degree, it's on. Because I have so much that I've already studied and researched now that I know I'll be able to do once I get that law license and that law degree and open my own practice. Man, let me tell you, Let me tell you. All right, y'all. So enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe out there. But remember, please do not let this conversation die down. I will be back tomorrow to share some more information about it. Until then, be safe. Keep an eye on your surroundings. Keep your phones charged fully before you leave the house. And if you see anything suspicious, anything going on in your community, you see police, you see unmarked cars or things like that trying to roll up on you, you turn your phone on, you start recording, you go live. Okay? Because when you go live, one of the things about going live, if you go live and let's just say your phone's knocked out of your hand, whatever, if the phone shuts off, the video is automatically saved. So, all right, make sure you guys stay on top of that, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. We'll be back here tomorrow to talk some more. Peace.